Hey guys, I hope everyone's doing well. In this Persona 5 The Phantom X video, what I want to cover is some mistakes, but inversely also tips that could help you guys kind of have your account be more solid overall. Now, I'm sure a lot of people are probably not having this game as their first gacha. They probably played other gachas, but I also know at the same time that for some people, I've seen a good amount that this might be their first gacha, especially because there are some kind of like original storylines that they got going on here. And I know a lot of Persona fans might actually want to try this out as their first gacha. So some of these tips and mistakes to avoid are going to be a bit more obvious for people who have already played gachas, but some are also going to be just good in general. Now, also, if you do enjoy these videos, I'm going to be making a lot more Persona content on this game. I'm really liking it. I think this game is really good. And if you want more guides, more general videos, and also some videos of me reacting to stuff, subscribe and like the video so this gets pushed out. I appreciate you guys greatly. The Persona community has been very welcoming to me, and I love it. So let's really get into this. Now, there are a lot of systems like there are in other Hoyoverse type of games. So like Genshin, Star Rail, and also something like Wuthering Waves. So that might be an easy way to really get yourself into this. If you've already played, you should not have that bad of a time. Now, one thing that I think many people should do, and it goes for a lot of these types of gachas where a lot of the grinding is level locked. The first thing that's going to be very important is if we head into the metaverse where basically it's all your game modes, when you actually grind, right? So for your stamina, what you have to keep in mind is that you're going to be getting a good amount of stamina pots, right? A good amount. And these stamina pots, right, you're going to get in different ways. And one of the things with them is don't use them too early. Okay, this one is actually very important. You're going to, early on, obviously use your daily stamina. That's a no-brainer, right? Make sure you use your daily stamina. And it's going to refresh. I actually don't know what's the exact time. Let me know. I think it's every 6 minutes, but I'm not too sure. So this stamina is going to let you grind a bunch of different things. XP level up for characters, weapon materials, all that good stuff. But it's also going to be for gear. So the Arcana cards are your gear in this game essentially, and I would honestly recommend to really kind of wait at least for level 60, if not level 70, to really dump all your stamina pots into. If you're trying to really go crazy on this game, even if it is more of a casual game, because honestly this game isn't super difficult, but if you are trying to really go kind of crazy on this, I would say wait for 60 or 70, more so leaning towards 70 to really put your stamina pots into. So each stamina pot is going to be a refresh of either 30 or 60, and this is going to allow you to really go ahead and get ahead, especially because there are some ranking modes. It's not a horrible idea to do this, right? And why this is also fine is you don't even need to put that much in the gear in general, because palace grinding and some other places are going to give you enough gear so you don't have the necessity to dump a lot of stamina into it no matter what. So I would say just wait first of all. Like for gear, just wait for 60, but more likely wait for that 70, because at 70 you're going to get the higher rarities, right, with a higher chance. And then here obviously is when you're able to get 2 to 3, but this is going to give you 1 to 2. So tying this in a bit to the stamina, there's a couple places you could get extra stamina when you're in your palace. So first of all, if you press L, you're going to see that here every month you're able to get 2 of these, right? So I would say that if you want to get some extra stamina, well, hey, there's an extra 2 refreshes that you're able to get right here, right? So that is the first thing. But if you also want to do some other things, one thing I will recommend is you're able to get some of these buffs. And why these could be important, because look, in battle increases all allies' wind damage by 1%, increases all allies' almighty damage, and then all allies' damage by 0.5% in a specific game mode, right? So you're gonna have all of these, and some you are able to get. So this is something. And then here, for example, if you also have some unlock conditions, so make sure this is if you press X, right, you're gonna have these things. And when global comes out, just make sure you verify to see what exactly you would want and need, because for example, some of these you could see, is it the third one? Some of them will require some of these coins, right? And the coins are also the same that you're using here. So make sure there's like kind of an equal amount that you're going to use both to give yourself lock, because I don't have access to it really in game because it's already done, right? So I'm going to talk about Lufols business plan. I think that's what they call it. And these are missions that are kind of like beginner missions, and they're going to really kind of set you up to start really understanding the game. And doing this is going to give you, first of all, pretty good rewards and also a free extra SSR. So I definitely would say it is worth it to do, first of all. And then also, you're going to just kind of get yourself situated. And this is why it is overall very important. So if we go here, you'll see Lufols business plan guide. So there's going to be 4 parts and they're pretty long. I'm going to put this doc down below if you want to see it, but I don't think, like, you might actually need it to plan to make sure for the steps ahead. But besides that, you're going to see, right, you're going to get, let me zoom in a bit more, like 10 currency, which you need 150 for a single. So you're getting 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, some other rewards, right? And then there's a bunch of steps per page, or per part, right? So you're gonna get a good amount of pulls, but then when you finish the first part, which is, look at how many pulls you're gonna get, right? All these 10s are gonna start adding up. And then if we go to completing part 1, what you're gonna be able to do is you're gonna get a free Ryuji and or Morgana. So this is big because you already get one of them from the starter banner. So if we go to the gacha system on Pride Win, you'll see that one of these 3, after I think 50 pulls, you're gonna get one of them. You can select one, right? Wait, do you? Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yes, you do. Sorry, I had a bit of a blank, but that means you could get 2 of the 3 guaranteed between Morgana and Ryuji. So in general, I would say probably whichever one you're able to access first, get and then afterwards get Morgana. But then they also do say here, which is pretty obvious, always prioritize getting a new character. So let's say you pulled Morgana, you lost 50-50 on Joker's banner, and you selected Anne from this starter banner. That means you would pick Ryuji, because Ryuji is also going to be very good later on for bossing and is good right now for bossing too. So that's going to be part 1, but then later on for part 2 you're gonna get a weapon. It's going to be a weapon for one of the 3, right? I would say maybe lean it more towards the DPS, so like probably get Anne's, but I do think that if you pick Morgana's, it's not bad either, right? Anne's or Morgana's, but I would say I personally would lean towards Anne's, especially because Anne does not fall off, right? If we check the tier list right now for Anne, she's still tier 1 on China, which is 14 months ahead of us, or 12 to 14, I think. So it's kind of crazy when you think about it, and then you see Morgana and you see that, right? So I would say Anne definitely is going to be very good. Then part 3, where is it? So part 3, what you're gonna get is awareness shards. Okay, so this is going to be a dupe, right? Now I would say Anne, oh, this is for all of the standards, but I would say probably go for Anne's. Anne's is very good. It gives an attack buff for the whole team. We could also go for Marian's. And then you could get a free 5-star standard weapon for the 4th part. So Lufols business plan, I'm probably going to go more in depth on another video, like much more in depth, but please do it. It's going to also just kind of guide you to show where you're supposed to be at that point in the game. So it's a very, very important thing for you guys to do. Now then, one thing I do got to mention for team comps, we're going to focus mainly on these 4 on the right, not Wonder, is make sure you're building up the right units and also in the right like team comp, right? So one thing I do kind of recommend to make it easier for you guys maybe is check the tier list, and this is the easiest way for people to see, because yes, they do have their roles like in game, but it's kind of clearly shown who is what. So I would say probably build 1 to 2 DPSs, mainly 1 AoE and 1 single target, but if you also go for Anne, that's fine, right? Because she is AoE. But you're gonna want to kind of get 1 of each. So for your main team comp at first, you're gonna want to be very precise on who you build. You don't want to throw your resources everywhere because there's only so many resources you could get. So building 1 DPS, 1 sustain, 1 support, and 1 navigator. However, these supports, you're also gonna want to make sure that sustain to support, one's buffing and one's debuffing. So for example, we're gonna do the Anne team comp. So Anne is fire. And then if we check here, Lufol, when he is max dupe, first of all, he's going to give attack buffs, right, and all that good stuff. But when he's max dupe, he's going to further give fire damage and I think more attack. Now, why this is important is because Anne does fire damage. So putting Lufol with Anne is going to be very good. And then afterwards, you could put Yao Ling, and she's going to be a debuffer. So some of these buffs and debuffs might multiply instead of only add up, which could mean bigger damage numbers, but that I'm not really too sure on the exact details. However, However, getting one debuffer and one buffer is going to be to your advantage, and then you're going to choose one of these two navigators. So if you're trying to go for more DPS, you're going to choose Kaio, and if you're trying to go for more sustain, you're going to choose Miyu, right? The reason why Kaio's higher up is because she is higher up in bossing, as you can see here. They do switch, because bossing you're trying to go for a quicker nuke, and then here it's obviously there's a bit more sustain on Miyu, and that's kind of the thing that's going on over here with this team comp. So make sure that you're really kind of centering your team around the DPS, right? That's something that is very important. Now, another thing, and the last thing for this video, is make sure you join a guild. So joining a guild is going to be quite important, because there is the guild boss, and there are going to be rewards that you're going to try and get from guilds. So, like, finding your place in a guild is going to be good, and there's going to be, like, an exchange shop. So there's going to be an exchange shop, and this is going to give some extra pulls, as we can see here. And then there's also going to be the game mode for guild boss, right? And then if we check here, this is going to be more currency. So finding a good guild, and also finding a guild like when you can, to get these rewards and start getting these rewards, is going to be quite important. So make sure you don't kind of slack and just not join a guild ever. Make sure you do join a guild. I know, like, it's not a lot of gachas that are more mainstream that have this, and I know many people that are coming to Persona, to this gacha, are more so from some mainstream games. But yeah, I would definitely say that making sure to join a guild is quite important, and also make sure it's a good one. So that's going to be it for this video. Thank you for watching, and I hope this video was helpful. These are overall quite general tips. I'm aware of that. I think it's pretty obvious, but I think some of them could definitely be helpful. And these are just things that could be kind of big glaring mistakes to kind of avoid, because if you use your stamina pots too early, you are just going to lose out on a lot of value. And if you don't join a guild, you're going to lose out on a lot of value. And even in other games, no matter what type of game it is, those beginner missions are something you want to do as you go, because I've also in other games just not done the beginner missions as it was telling me to right away. And looking at how many missions there were in Lufols' business plan, you want to make sure you're staying up to date on that. So make sure you're doing all that. I hope this video was helpful. Thank you for watching. Have a good one. Bye-bye.